What would you do for love? Would you work 7 years for the person of your dreams? What if you were deceived and had to work 7 more? This is the extraordinary story of Jacob and Rachel, a tale that reveals how true love endures through the longest waits and deepest disappointments. Our story unfolds in ancient Mesopotamia, around 1900 BC in the land of Haran. Jacob, grandson of Abraham, arrives as a fugitive fleeing his brother Esau's wrath. He's traveling to find his uncle Laban, carrying nothing but his father's blessing and God's promise that his descendants will inherit the promised land. As Jacob approaches a well outside Haran, he encounters local shepherds watering their flocks. They tell him about Laban's daughter Rachel, who tends sheep. Then, like a scene from a romantic movie, Rachel appears. Genesis 29:17 describes her as lovely in form and beautiful. Jacob is immediately smitten. In an impressive display of strength and affection, he single-handedly rolls away the massive stone covering the well and waters Rachel's flock. Their meeting is electric. Jacob kisses Rachel and weeps aloud, overwhelmed by finding his relative and perhaps recognizing his future bride. Rachel runs home to tell her father Laban, who welcomes Jacob with open arms. After a month of getting acquainted, Laban makes Jacob an offer that seems too good to be true. Laban has 2 daughters. Leah the older has weak eyes, while Rachel is stunning. When Laban asks what wages Jacob wants, Jacob's response reveals his heart. "I'll work for you 7 years in return for your younger daughter Rachel." This wasn't unusual in ancient times where bride prices were common, but 7 years was an extraordinary commitment. Genesis 29:20 captures Jacob's devotion beautifully. So Jacob served 7 years to get Rachel, but they seemed like only a few days to him because of his love for her. Love transforms time itself. When you're pursuing something precious, even long seasons of waiting can feel manageable, but Laban has other plans. On the wedding night, in a twist that mirrors Jacob's own deceptive past, Laban substitutes Leah for Rachel. Ancient wedding customs involved heavy veils and darkness, making this deception possible. Jacob wakes up married to the wrong woman. Confronting Laban, Jacob learns about local customs requiring the older daughter to marry first. Laban offers a solution that reveals his manipulative nature. "Finish this daughter's bridal week, then we'll give you the younger one also, in return for another 7 years of work." Jacob faces an impossible choice. He could leave, abandoning his dream, or commit to another 7 years of labor. His decision reveals the depth of his love. He agrees to work 14 years total for Rachel. This arrangement creates a complex family dynamic. Jacob loves Rachel but is married to Leah, who desperately wants her husband's affection. God sees Leah's pain and blesses her with children, while Rachel remains barren. Genesis 29:31 says, "When the Lord saw that Leah was not loved, he enabled her to conceive, but Rachel remained childless." Leah bears 4 sons, hoping each child will win Jacob's love. Meanwhile, Rachel's barrenness becomes a source of deep anguish. She cries to Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." Her desperation reflects how children were considered essential for a woman's worth and security in ancient times. The rivalry between sisters intensifies as they compete for Jacob's attention and God's blessing. They even give their maidservants to Jacob as wives, continuing the competition through surrogate mothers. This polygamous arrangement, while culturally acceptable then, creates ongoing family conflict. Finally, God remembers Rachel. Genesis 30:22 says, "Then God remembered Rachel, he listened to her and enabled her to conceive." She bears Joseph, who becomes Jacob's favorite son and a crucial figure in Israel's history. Later, she gives birth to Benjamin, but dies in childbirth. Jacob's 14-year wait teaches profound lessons about love, patience, and God's sovereignty. His commitment to Rachel demonstrates that true love perseveres through deception, disappointment, and delay. Even when circumstances seem unfair, love endures. This story also reveals how God works through human flaws and family dysfunction. Despite the deception and rivalry, God builds the 12 tribes of Israel through this complicated family. Jacob's sons become the patriarchs of God's chosen people. Rachel's wait reminds us that God's timing often differs from our desires. Sometimes our greatest blessings come after our longest waits. Her eventual motherhood of Joseph proves that delayed answers aren't denied answers. Jacob's story challenges us to examine our own commitments. In a world of instant gratification, his 14-year devotion stands as a testament to enduring love. True love doesn't give up when circumstances become difficult or when dreams take longer than expected to fulfill. The account of Rachel's wait ultimately points to God's faithfulness. Through human scheming and family drama, God's promises to Abraham continue through Jacob's lineage, proving that divine purposes prevail despite human imperfection.